There comes a day when the heart stops waiting, not because the love has faded, but because life demands it. For Amy Fleming, that day arrives quietly, without warning, yet it changes everything. The wind across Heartland feels different. The shadows in the barn don't carry the same weight. And for the first time since Ty's death, Amy feels the ground shift beneath her, pulling her away from the past she's clung to and toward a future she never thought she could face alone. But accepting life without Ty is not just about letting go, it's about finding the courage to live again. In Season 19, Amy's journey is no longer about the hope that Ty might somehow walk back through the door. It's about the reality that he won't, and the painful truth that she has to keep going anyway. From the outside, nothing about Heartland has changed. The sun still rises over the hills, the horses still stir at dawn, and the gravel crunches under boots in the same familiar way. But inside Amy, something is shifting. She begins to see the ranch not as a place frozen in time, but as a living, breathing home that needs her, all of her. Here in the present, it starts with small changes. Amy walks into the barn one morning and sees Ty's saddle hanging in its usual place. For years, she's avoided it, afraid that touching it would feel like erasing him. But this time, her steps don't falter. She reaches out, her fingers brushing the leather, and instead of the sharp stab of grief, she feels something softer, a memory, warm and steady. The fear of forgetting is still there, but it no longer outweighs her need to live. To Amy's relationships with her family deepen in ways she didn't expect. Lou notices the change first, how Amy lingers a little longer at the breakfast table, how she's more willing to join in conversations, even laugh. Jack, quiet as always, sees it too. He doesn't press her to talk, but his watchful eyes seem to say, "I'm glad you're coming back to us." Even Lindy, young as she is, senses it. She draws pictures of the three of them, herself, Amy, and Ty, but now she includes a bright sun overhead, as if she understands that love doesn't disappear, it just changes. Still, moving forward isn't easy. Amy has days where the weight of loss presses in again, where she walks into Ty's old clinic and is hit with the smell of leather and antiseptic, the sight of his jacket still hanging on the chair. On those days, she doesn't try to be strong. She sits in the quiet, letting the memories wash over her, knowing that healing doesn't mean shutting them out. It means making peace with their presence. The turning point comes when Amy begins working with a new horse, a skittish, mistreated gelding brought in from a rescue. The horse is wild-eyed, distrustful, unwilling to let anyone near. Amy sees herself in him, remembers what it felt like to flinch at every reminder of Ty. She doesn't force the connection. Instead, she waits, giving him space, speaking softly until he takes the first tentative step toward her. In that moment, something clicks, not just for the horse, but for Amy. She realizes she's been doing the same thing with herself, slowly approaching her own heart after years of fear. By the time autumn settles over Hudson, Amy has begun to weave pieces of herself back into the life she once loved. She rides Spartan through the open fields, the wind cool and crisp against her face. For the first time in a long time, she's not riding away from pain or chasing a memory. She's riding towards something new, something undefined, but real. And deep down, she knows Ty would want her to. If you want, I can now write Section 2 with the same emotional tone and 3,500 characters, building toward a powerful and hopeful close as winter approaches. In Season 19, Amy's acceptance of life without Ty becomes more than a personal journey, it begins to shape the future of Heartland itself. The ranch has always been a place where people and horses heal together, but Amy now understands that it can't truly thrive unless she is fully present. She starts taking on projects she had avoided for years, from repairing fences to planning community events, slowly reclaiming the spaces that had once been too painful to touch. Every task feels like stitching another piece of herself back into the fabric of the ranch. Lindy becomes a quiet anchor in this transformation. One evening, Amy finds her daughter sitting cross-legged on the porch, looking up at the stars. "I think Daddy can see us," Lindy says softly, without turning her head. Amy swallows hard but nods. "I think so too." It's a small exchange, but it stays with her. That night, Amy realizes that moving forward isn't just about her own healing, it's about showing Lindy that it's possible to love someone deeply, lose them, and still live a life filled with joy. Jack plays his part in that lesson too. One cold morning, he finds Amy in the barn, lost in thought as she oils Ty's old saddle. He doesn't interrupt, just stands beside her for a while before saying, "You know, holding on and letting go aren't opposites. You can do both." His words settle in her heart like the warmth of a fire on a bitter day. She begins to understand that letting go of the pain doesn't mean letting go of the love. The turning point comes during a rescue mission for a neglected mare abandoned on the outskirts of town. The horse is thin, frightened, and in desperate need of care. Amy takes her in, working patiently day after day, earning her trust. There's a moment when the mare finally allows Amy to rest a hand on her neck without flinching, and Amy feels something inside herself shift again. She realizes that healing is not a single event, it's a series of moments, quiet and unassuming, that slowly add up to change. As the season progresses, the ranch begins to hum with new life. The barn is busier, the fields more alive, the air lighter. Amy starts a special program for training and rehoming horses that others have given up on. She doesn't say it out loud, but everyone knows it's as much for her as it is for the horses. Each success, each new bond, feels like proof that moving forward doesn't erase the past, it honors it. By the final stretch of the season, Amy finds herself standing at Ty's grave once more. This time, she's not here out of grief, but out of gratitude. The winter air is cold against her cheeks, but she doesn't feel chilled. She places a single wildflower on the stone, her breath forming a soft cloud in the morning light. "I'm doing okay," she whispers. And for the first time, she truly means it. When she rides back to the ranch on Spartan, the horizon feels wider, the sky more open. Heartland isn't just her home, it's her future. And as the wind brushes past her, she knows she's not leaving Ty behind. She's carrying him with her, not as a shadow, but as a light. Season 19 doesn't end with Amy closing a chapter. It ends with her beginning a new one where love, loss, and hope can exist side by side, and where the future is not something to fear, but something to embrace.